All right, ladies and gentlemen, you should have picked up the Supreme Court case in the very front. You need your Supreme Court case I gave you on Thursday.
My favorite horror movie is Hush.
What is that?
It's on Netflix. It's got a girl who's like,
It's actually creeping me out. It
she's
creeps me out.
deaf and she lives out in the middle of nowhere.
It sounds really cliche, but it's actually really good.
It's a great movie. I watched it so many times.
Okay.
I love the BBC Get Out.
Oh my god. Oh, and Us. I love
Oh my
Us.
god, that's
Jordan
so
Peele
sad.
movies.
Every Jordan
He's
Peele
so
movie,
talented.
he never misses.
Okay, here we go. We are doing our last two Supreme Court cases ever today, which is very exciting. They're going all the way to Toby. You're killing me, Mackenzie. So, ladies and gentlemen, these are your last two Supreme Court cases. We're going to finish them today. So the first one is going to be Citizens United versus FEC. It is about individual rights. No, it's not. Oh my God. Don't write that. I was looking at the wrong one. Life is hard, okay? It's hard. It's about campaign finance. Campaign finance is what it is. Campaign finance is FEC versus United. Okay, so we're talking about campaign finance. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is the most controversial of all of our Supreme Court cases. That is happening right now. I used to have to teach Roe versus Wade, and that was the most controversial, but I don't have to teach it anymore because it doesn't exist. All right, here we go. So campaign, finance, law. Okay, so this is happening in 2010. This is our most recent one on top of it. It is very controversial. Here we go. Citizens United sought an injunction against the Federal Election Commission in the United States District Court of the District of Columbia to prevent the application of the Bipartisan Campaign Reform Act. This law says corporations cannot smear a candidate. Okay, so if they're trying to prevent the application, what does Citizens United want to be able to do? Smear a candidate. What does the word smear mean? What do we got? Will? Yeah, talk bad about them, okay? So say if I was running for the Senate seat in Florida, okay? Target could run an ad saying that Samantha Bennett is the worst choice for Florida. I have bad breath. My hairstyles are very limited. All the typical smear stuff. That is an attack ad, okay? So that's what they're trying to avoid. Now, you also need to know about the Bipartisan Campaign Act. And you need to write small. Corporations cannot engage in electioneering. That's a real word. Electioneering communications as of 60 days before elections and 30 of a primary. So essentially, if Amelia, what?
Where do I get them?
It's in the box.
Okay.
If Amelia was running a multi-billion-dollar industry or corporation, me and Amelia could sit down every Tuesday at our local Starbucks, and she could give me a check, and we would come up with advertising, and we could do this except for 60 days before the election. Now, if you already have a relationship with a corporation, what are they going? You just can't talk to them, but is the plan already made? Yeah, so, it's kind of a moot point. Is this an effective way to stop money from flooding politics? So, BICRA, which is not a perfect law, was attempting to stop the flow of, hi, friend, what are you doing here?
Neighborhood. I needed Dell to sign something, so I figured I would say hi.
You have fancy pants. Hi, friend. All right,
My
sorry.
AC's back, so I can rock the three-piece suit now.
Oh, thank God. I
Is
knew
this
something
too
was
much?
wrong. It's
I
way
added
too
like
much.
the red button.
I can't. Please
Right?
leave. please.
Jen
leave.
did it. She's like, should I sew like some red stitching on
Would
the
you
top?
like to see how I have paint stains?
Gross.
On my button-down
This
shirt?
is my Savile Row suit. This is actually like a Norton Sons like.
By the way,
vintage
this is
Savile Row
being
suit.
recorded for all of
That's fine. It
posterity.
should be.
Should be.
Everyone should Google Savile Row custom suit.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Please leave. Goodbye, my love.
I'm gonna be back.
Goodbye. Hi, friend. Bye, friend. Anyway, all right. So essentially, it's trying to keep. BICRA is trying to limit how much money is going into politics in 2010. They're trying to stop the flow of politics because the more money means more corruption, means more influence. So by slowing down the flow of money, they're trying to slow how much influence corporations have. Because who has deeper pockets, corporations or individuals? Corporations. So they're trying to stop corporations from being too loud over actual citizens. So because of that, they're trying to slow it down. Okay, so Citizens United sought an injunction against the Federal Election Commission and the United States District Court of the District of Columbia to prevent the application of the Bipartisan Campaign Reform Act, BICRA, to its film Hillary the Movie. Who do you think Hillary is in Hillary the Movie? Clinton. It is anti-Hillary film released within 60 days of the election. Now, documentary films and advertisements on television have two totally different thresholds. If you're going to do a political ad on television, you have to state who made it, you have to state different types of facts, and you can't lie. In a movie, can you lie? Absolutely. Do you have to tell them who is created this film and who it's backed by? No. So by doing a movie versus advertisements, they can kind of subvert a lot more and hide a lot more things in it of untruths. With that being said, this whole thing is about whether they can release it within 60 days. And remember, Citizens United is a corporation. They're a film production, and they're trying to do it. Expressed opinions about whether Senator Hillary Rodham Clinton would make a good president. In the attempt to regulate big money, campaign contributions to the BICRA applies a variety of restrictions to electioneering communications. When we talk about electioneering, we're talking about ads/promotions. Okay. Section 203 of the BICRA prevents corporations and labor unions from sending such communications from the General Treasury. Section 201 and 311 require disclosure of donors to such communication and disclaimer of when the communication. So essentially, they're trying to keep the corporations from throwing all these types of money behind one person. Okay? Because if Jeff Bezos wants to flood Florida voting to get you to vote for Samantha Bennett, will that have an influence on how you elect? Yeah, if everywhere you go, you see these huge banners that say, Samantha Bennett on television every time you turn on, Samantha Bennett, okay, you're not going to hear the voices of my opposition, which is Mackenzie. Okay? Mackenzie is going to be drowned out by all the Samantha Bennett because I got the big money behind me. And that makes it very hard for challengers to get it. So in order to try to make things equal, to make sure the candidates of the people have a say, they're trying to limit corporations. Well, guess what corporations don't want? Limit it. Because remember, if Amelia is throwing millions of dollars my way for my campaign, guess what I'm going to do when I get to office? I'm going to make sure my girl Amelia is feeling real good about this relationship. And Amelia needs me to change the limitations of a forest so she can have half of it and she can cut them down and turn it into paper. Then guess what I'm going to do for my girl? I'm going to deregulate that forest and let her make her paper. Okay? Those are the types of relationships that BACRA is trying to avoid. Okay. This is one of the only ones that I would say reading the whole thing like I usually do is probably not going to be that helpful. Is that okay with you? Well, thank you. Okay? So, they're talking about all the different sections. So, here's what you need to know about Citizens United versus FEC. What you need to know, it gives corporations and labor unions complete access to spend, not spend, sorry, my handwriting's bad, to spend as much money as they want, as long as they don't work with the candidate 60 days out. So who does this benefit? Little people or corporations? Corporations. They can spend as much money as they want. They have no regulations. With that being said, since 2010, have our politicians personally gotten richer or poorer? Yup. There is way more money in DC right now than there's ever been in DC. Now, is this one party versus the other, or is this all of them? All of them are flush with cash, and they are making very comfortable lifestyles. The joke is, you may show up to DC not a millionaire, but you aren't going to stay poor for a long time, because you're going to be a millionaire pretty much as soon as you arrive in DC because of all the lobbying and all of the campaign funding that's going to happen. Now, as regular citizens like you and I, does this make us happy or cranky? It makes us very cranky, because essentially we want them working for us, not for corporations. By increasing the donations that corporations can give, who are they going to be more loyal to? The corporations. So, as citizens of the United States, we're not thrilled about this, okay? However, it is the law of the land currently. Now, everything has pros and cons, of course, but this is the most controversial, because regular people like you and I are not particularly happy about it, but are politicians doing anything to get rid of it? No, because they're making like tons of money off of it. All right, here we go. So what does the constitutional principles demonstrate? Citizens United argued, parentheses, corporations, end parentheses, were being violated for First Amendment right to freedom of speech. Corporations have been protected by SCOTUS. What does SCOTUS stand for? Supreme Court of the United States, as, in quote, people, and constitutionally provided civil liberties extend to them. So, corporations are now people. They have the same rights as you. They have right to freedom of religion, freedom of the press, freedom of the speech, and they have the right to give as much money as they want, because they are as equal to you. Now, do you feel equal to a corporation? No, but they're as equal to you. Isn't that fun? All right, why is it important? It is a 5-4 in favor of Citizens United. Believed that political advertisement and communication were not materially different from government censorship. That's what they ruled. Of speech towards individuals. Period. You write a quote. Corporations have the same rights as people. That is what has come of this. So, it has both worked for them and worked against them. They can now be tried criminally, and the CEOs are now held accountable, which is kind of funny because they're people. But there's also a bunch of back ways they can get out of it, but that's a whole other thing. So this is the most controversial one because now it has put so much more money into politics, and people are making tons and tons of money in probably the ways we probably don't want them to. Anyway, here we go. Next one, Yoder. Anytime you see the word Yoder, you know you're talking about the Amish. What do you got? In the second box, Constitution provides civil liberties extended to them. Okay, Yoder is where we're headed now. Okay, anytime you see Yoder, you need to know it's Amish people. If you didn't know that, I don't know what to tell you. Haven't you had their donuts? Come on now. All right, individual rights is what this case is about. All right, here we go. So, Jonas Yoder and Wallace Miller, both members of the Old Order Amish religion, and Aidan Yotzi, a member of the conservative Amish Mennonite Church, were prosecuted under Wisconsin law that required all the children to attend public schools until the age of 16. The three parents refused to send their children to such schools after the 8th grade, arguing that high school attendance was contrary to their religious beliefs. Okay? So, you need to put a star. The SCOTUS is trying to balance between social order and individual rights. Okay, when we talk about social order, it's the kind of basic conceptions that we all have an understanding of. That since we've all gone to school, we understand that we all have this basic foundation of understanding that there are rules to be followed, there are expectations, there are societal norms. That's what's conveyed. Did Wisconsin's requirement that all parents send their children to school at least to age 16 violate the First Amendment? Okay, the court held that the individual's interest of free exercise of religion under the First Amendment outweighed the state's interest in compelling school attendance beyond the 8th grade. In a majority opinion by Chief Justice Warren Burger, the court found that the values of programs of secondary school were in sharp conflict with the fundamental mode of life mandated by the Amish religion, and that an additional 1 or 2 years of high school would not produce the benefits of public education cited by Wisconsin to justify the law. Justice William O. Douglas filed a partial dissent but joined with the majority regarding Yoder. Justices Lewis Powell and William Rehnquist took no part in the consideration or decision of the case. Here we go. What is the impact of the case? It is about protecting individual rights and finding balance with society. What is the constitutional principle? Right small, Yoder argued that Wisconsin compulsory education voided the First Amendment of free exercise of religion. Period. Wisconsin, which I'm using WI to represent, argued they had an interest in educating children that trumps Amish free exercise. Yoder wins. Period. Why is it important? It sets the tone for state versus religion in courts and makes homeschooling more common. There you go. Congrats, you just finished your last Supreme Court case of the year. Both of them are up on Canvas. Take pictures, post them now, be done with it. Isn't it great to be done? And we're done in October. That's so nice. So, you do not have a vocab quiz tomorrow. There's only 10 words, so you don't have a vocab quiz tomorrow, but you do have a list quiz on Wednesday. And these are the last two that are going to be added. What?
What else are we doing?
What do you mean? You only have one more week of APGov after this. Yeah, you have next week. I've finished the primaries this week because I wanted to be done. And next week is your last week. And then we do writing week. And then we start AP Comp for 3 weeks, I think. And then we do review, and then you're gone. And then you do your exams, and then you're gone for 2 weeks. It's so nice.
So what do we do for this?
It's AP Comp. It's the same format. It's just different content.
Oh.
You didn't know we were switching to AP Comp? Haven't we talked about this a bajillion
No,
times?
I knew. I just thought that like it was like first semester is APGov, second semester.
Yeah, but we need that review on the backside. So we are hurrying to get to AP Comp. So we have that 5 weeks to review on the backside. Huh?
That's gonna be so nice.
It will be so nice, which is why we've worked so hard to get there. So you should be submitting this on Canvas. How much time do I have anyway?